Well, if your ride's broke down and looking sad, got a clunker car that's just plain bad, don't you fret, don't you worry, don't you sass. Just bring it on down to Chad's Whiskey Gas. He's Chad, he's wild, he's got the speed, fixing up rust buckets, planting a new seed. In the Whiskey Gas garage, you know it's true. He'll get that old forgotten clunker feeling brand new.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Whiskey Gas Garage. I'm Chad Scott. I'm your host. Thank you so much for tuning in today for this episode. And the first thing you're going to recognize is this ain't a Yugo. I bought a car, obscure, from the mid 80s, who only had like a 5-year run in the US. Same car, just they'd never made any new ones. And I just expect to run down to see Napa Joe or go down to O'Reilly's or one of my parts houses, and there'll just be parts everywhere because everybody's got a Yugo. I mean, after all, there are 409 left in the United States. There should be plenty of parts, right? Turns out, no, not at all. So we're waiting on parts for the Yugo. We had to, you remember on the last episode, she was running. We got that clutch loosened up, got the wheels spinning in all 4 gears in reverse. Everything was looking good. Of course, we knew she had some water issues. So she was leaking water out the back of the block. Turned out it was the water pump not doing water pumpy things. So we looked around, had to end up ordering one. It probably won't be here for another day or two or 3 or a month. We're going to get a water pump. We've got it ordered. It's on the way. And then we'll get back on the Yugo. And let me tell you what I learned about the Yugo water pump upon the removal process. You're going to move the smog pump and the bracketry. And then you got to move the alternator and the bracketry just to get to the water pump. And then you got to take there are 4 screws in the water pump housing, take those out, and you get to 3 of them. Got those out in no time. Thought I am cruising down Easy Street on this water pump. Turns out, no. Then you got to take the carburetor off, set that aside. And then you got to take all the hoses off, and then you got to take all the emissions off. Then you got to take the intake off, and then you got to take the exhaust manifold off to get to one bolt in the back. Thank you, Yugo. Oh, if there was still Yugoslavia, I would say bad things about. I wouldn't. But pain in the backside to get the water pump off. But to be fair, the water pump's off now. So we got a new one order. It'll be in soon. We'll start working back on the Yugo pretty soon. But in the interim, and I teased this in a video earlier, I was on the old face marketplace, and $300 it popped up. A 1978 Triumph TR7 2-door coupe in gold. Okay, I'm listening. So, it's not about the cars here at Whiskey Gas Garage. It is about the story. So the story is, I've had one of these. So back in the late 80s, 87, 88, 89, whatever it was, I was just getting ready to go into the Coast Guard Academy out of the fleet, and found me one of these things down there in Connecticut and bought me one. It was an 80 Triumph TR7 convertible. It was white, and it was okay, but it was really the first car I ever decided I was going to buy this car. I was going to fix it up. It's going to be sexy, and I'm going to look like $1 million cruising down. Had flowing hair. There was some hair. So did it, bought it, loved it, painted it, ended up blowing the motor, putting a Buick V6 in it, leather interior. She was something. She was something. I mean, she would move. They're quick. They're not fast, but they were quick. So loved this car, had it, through college, was getting my master's, PhD, doing all that kind of crazy stuff. And my starter wife, I said starter wife, and not to offend the 7% of you who are ladies who actually watch this channel, but if you know, guys. So my starter wife, while I got called back up while I was in the reserves, deployed overseas for a short term, and while I was over there, my starter wife sold my Triumph TR7 at a yard sale for $500. Didn't tell me about it. till I got back home. And I'd ask, I'd call from overseas, how's my car doing? Oh, it's fine. It's fine because somebody else owned it. And it turned out somebody else was owned her too. Long story. We're not going to get into it. Not important. 100 years ago. But the car went the way of the dinosaur and no longer had it. So let's fast forward a few years. I meet my forever wife in North Carolina, and I say, you know what? I'm going to find this car. I'm going to find out where it is, and I'm going to go get it back. 'Cause that was my car. And number one, dumb. Number two, I did it anyway. Found the car. It was in Seattle, Washington. Got a hold of this guy after pretty good search, and said, "Hey, this is my car. I did this and this and this." He goes, "Well, it's definitely your car." I said, "I'd like to buy it back." He said, "Okay." So he sold it back to me. So me and my buddy Jim, and I know 9 Jims, but this was, we call him Sugar Sweet Cereal Jim. And I tell you that story because I haven't seen Sugar Sweet in years and years and years. But we called him Sugar Sweet Cereal Jim because the girls he dated were so young that he had to keep sugary sweet cereals in his apartment. So the next morning, he would have something to give them before he sent them home. So me and Sugar Sweet Cereal Jim, we buy tickets, we fly out to Seattle. We're in Seattle. We pick up the car. We're driving back across the Dakotas. Had to stop North Dakota, had to do a little work on the fuel pump, put a clicky clacky in it and to get it across. We're in Spearfish, South Dakota. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's the Friday, Good Friday before Easter Sunday, back in the late '90s, early 2000s. I don't exactly remember when, and hit a moose. I'm driving, and then everything was fine, and then it wasn't. There was a moose, and we hit it, and every panel in the car, from the bumper to the hood to the crashed windshield to the hardtop. It was a hardtop convertible, so it had a hardtop on it. We never found the hardtop. It disintegrated or disappeared. We're not sure, but we think it went over. There was no hardtop. The back panels, every side, everything on this car was destroyed. Blood everywhere, and I mean moose blood and Chad blood and sugary sweet Jim. It was dead asleep. And when it hit, apparently it was that thing where you're limp and you don't react. He was fine. He walked away. But I was bleeding and there was moose everywhere. It looked something like, I don't know, like a crime scene cleanup photo. It was unpleasant. It was truly unpleasant. So ended up calling the sheriff, and he comes out. I swear to you, his name was Sonny Bubba Junebug Johnson, but everybody called him Junebug. Like, Sheriff, he goes, I don't know, call me Sheriff. Everybody calls me Junebug. That's kind of how he talked. I don't remember exactly, but in my head, that's how I remember him talking. So we did all the paperwork, and he gave us some stuff. And Wrecker came out and towed it to wherever they towed it to last time I ever saw it. And then old Sonny Bubba gave me a ticket. He goes, "Here's your ticket." I said, "What's this for?" And he goes, "You took a moose out of season." He goes, "That's against the law in South Dakota." Turns out he was exactly right. $76 it cost me because I hit a moose without having a license, I guess, to hit moose. I Another true story is the first deer I ever killed was a dart. I mean, it was a '67 Dodge Dart Swinger with a slant six, but in South Dakota, apparently that's against the law, and you got to pay for the privilege of hitting the moose. So, ended up paying that ticket. Flew back home, got back home, and turned all my insurance into USAA. And at this point, I had maybe 2 grand invested in the whole thing. Bought the car, paid for the tickets, meals, gas. I had to buy Jim some sugary sweet cereal. 2 grand. So we get back. I submit everything to USAA, and about a week later, they come back, send me a check, $8,350. Apparently, my 1980 Triumph TR7 convertible was a highly desirable car. I don't know what math they were using. I don't know what actuaries they were using. I'm surprised with business practices like that, they're still in business. Um, but quite frankly, I've been with them since 1986. So I don't know what that 40 years I've been with the USAA. Whatever it is, I relished in the fact that I got this giant check and this whole fiasco, and I still hold it over my wife's head, who told me not to go to start with. Wasn't that a great idea? Yep, don't go chasing waterfalls. So anyway, I see this thing pop up in the old face space marketplace the other day at $300. And I'm like, that is less than scrap value. I'm going to get this thing. So I called the old feller up and I said $300, and he goes, "Yep." And I said, "I'll be there to get it." So I went there to get it. He's a young kid, 18, 19, 20, long hair, rock and roller, um, interesting kid, smart. But I said, "So why are you selling it?" He goes, "Well, my girlfriend and I just found out we're pregnant." And I'm like, "Wow, super responsible young man. Clearly not going to put a baby seat in a two-seater. This is the kind of kid that I want my son to grow up to be." And I said, "Well, yeah." And then he followed it up with, "And I needed $300 to get out of jail. She got in a fight at the Target the other day." I'm like, how could I not buy this car at this point? I could not get that $300 out of my pocket fast enough to give this kid for this car. Had a title in his name, and he just bought it 2 weeks ago. And he was so optimistic about this car that he even got a temporary tag for it. In Colorado, you can get a 60-day temporary tag for just having a title. So he got him a 60-day temporary tag, put it on there. Of course, it doesn't run, doesn't drive. There are no keys to it at all. But he was pretty optimistic that he was going to get this car, and him and his girlfriend were going to take it back and forth to Target. But apparently, maybe they only went once to Target, and whatever happened happened. My understanding is she's out of jail because he sent me a little note on the face messenger saying thanks so much. I'm so glad to get her out and yada yada yada. And oh, okay, there we go. He had a title and this, and I had $300, and we swapped. But I asked him because he got it on Facebook Marketplace too. He said, "Tell me about the guy you got it from." He said the guy I got it from was like he'd had it since he was young, and it sat since he thought 2000, and he used to work in Dearborn, Michigan, and I don't know. There were a lot of stories, but let me tell you what I think about Face Space Marketplace, and anybody who's ever been on there knows it's a gamble. It's a coin toss. It's like going to the grocery store and buying a watermelon. Now, you're going to get a good watermelon or you're going to get a bad watermelon. It doesn't matter. You're not taking that watermelon back. That's an agreement between you and the Kroger's or whatever grocery store you go to. It may be good, it may not. It's a gamble. Facebook Marketplace is the same thing. It's a gamble. The guy might show up, he might not show up. He might have a title, he might not have a title. That might be the car in the picture, might not be in the car in the picture. But what you know as the guy who made the call, it's a gamble. You don't hold any grudges. It's just you flip a coin and maybe you get it. This car was exactly what I thought it would be. Now, just looking at it, it's pretty. It's gold. It's Fort Knox gold, we'll call it. But what it actually is, and I'm not talking about from 10 feet away, it starts looking a little rough. From 50 feet away, it looks like you gave a classroom full of kindergartners a bunch of those sugary pixie sticks with some soda with high caffeine content, and then each of them a 5-hour energy, and then gave them a big can of gold finger paint and said, "Go paint that TR7." And they just went, and that's what the paint job looks like. Not up close, not when you get close. Miles away from space, you can see that a group of kindergartners painted this TR7. So it's bad. So when I was getting in it to put it up on the trailer and I steering the wheel, I noticed that the rest of the car, which has very little interior, was British Racing Green. So somebody had in their head, what if we took a British Racing Green car and then we let gold finger paint go all over it with what I can only assume is a brush. I don't see overspray, so I'm just assuming somebody got out there. What have we done? So one obscure car from the 80s to one obscure car from the 70s, and we're definitely going to fix it up. So we're gonna take some time, go through the car. I don't even know it has a motor. I don't know what's in the trunk. All I can tell you is there's 2 seats and a blanket in the front and some miscellaneous parts. It looks like from where I was just steering it up onto the old trailer when we winched her home with the V10 Excursion. So I can't tell you a lot about it. We'll go through it together. We'll take a look at it. If it looks like it's anything at all, we may extend this out and see if she's locked up and see what the plugs do and use our borescope and I don't know, do all those things we do to try to get them running and driving. It is an automatic, according to the stick in the middle, because it doesn't have, and there weren't a whole lot of those, period, in these cars. So we'll see. We'll see what else it does for us. So y'all hang in, hang on, hang on. We'll be back in just a minute and just to see what we can see. All right, let's take a walk around here and see what $300 gets you in Aurora, Colorado, and other than a young lady out of jail. So this was the 1978 Triumph TR7. I think they brought these to the US somewhere around 75, 76, and then made a TR8 version of this in 81. And then they just disappeared. They were called the Shape of Things to Come. And they would drive them into this little garage that was also triangle shaped. And this was not, I think, what they had in mind for Shape of Things to Come. As you can see down that side, it is wavy as it can be, like it's got more Bondo in it than it knows what to do with. Clearly, love this optimistic kid. I'm just going to get a temporary tag because I'm going to get it running. Of course, you are. Uh, but there's some rust maybe in the lower corners, nothing rusted through. And I don't know if it's rust or just where they've whacked something and then filled it up with Bondo, or I'm not exactly sure what's going on right there. But she's gold, and she is definitely kindergarten finger paint gold. We're going to call that color because that's clearly what has happened here. And all the trim's gone. And she does have the old fabric sunroof from the 70s. These were actually pretty cool. You twist a big handle on the inside and push them back. And, you know, I thought, well, God, that's going to leak. And it rained hard here in Colorado last night. No leaks at all. No water on the inside that I saw from the outside. So let's start in the trunk here. The old Trunkinator. See what you got going on. Okay, suspicions confirmed. British Racing Green. Uh, Such a quality paint job done here by maybe a spray can. Okay. And the trunk, absolutely chock full of stuff. I mean, oh, good God. Okay, well, let's start there. There's a smog pump, so it'll never ever pass emissions again, ever. There's a fuel rail assembly of some kind, brand new. Okay, we got a funnel. All right, that starts our tool collection. What do we got there? A little snubby screwdriver. Well, she came in our funnel. We're keeping him. A tire gauge, a nut driver, because why not? Uh, some star heads and a flat head because you can never have too many of those. Caliper grease. Oh, that means it's definitely got brakes. Uh, a removal tool. That's probably the most important thing we'll need for all of our breakdowns. What else? Well, that's a half a can of WD-40. Boys, we're making back our $300 in a hurry here. Let's see here. Cobblestone car wash. Cobblestone. Okay. What do you got here? Oh, boys. We've got a Haynes manual. Now, it's not a hardback Haynes like we got with the Yugo, but we definitely got a Haynes manual. Oh, and a sales, and some washers, and some sales brochures. TR7. The shape of things, I was just talking about that. The shape of things to come. A concept over 4 years in the making. By slanting the four-cylinder engine 45 degrees to the left, the hood sweeps ultra low, forming the TR7's innovative advanced profile. Okay. Oh, and apparently it was a race car. It's a shape that not just comes, it wins. Oh, comfortably. If you're a lumberjack, I am sure that you are lumberjacking all you can with those seats. Ah, interior, 5 speed, but we know this one's an automatic. Ooh, automatic. I didn't even know they made these with air conditioning. And a Panasonic stereo. Okay. 3-speed automatic transmission, not available in California. So clearly not a California car. Here's all the engine and the specs. And oh, okay. Well, that's nice to have. Somebody has thought a little. Let's see what. Speed Pro Series. How to improve Triumph TR7, TR7 V8, and TR8 by Roger Williams. Isn't he the guy who sang trailers for sale or rent, rooms to let, 15 cent? Maybe not. A magazine where you can buy pieces and parts, and there's a TR7 right down the front. And then another, all the parts you need for a Triumph. Rimmer Brothers. They also make some good Yugo parts I've noticed in my adventures with the Yugo. Looks like there's all kinds of receipts, and we've bought stuff, and we've got credit card approvals and repair, seal frame, and tack weld 2 nuts back into place. Well, I don't know who need their nuts welded back into place, but we got a receipt for that. Just lots of stuff going on here. Thank you. Keep them on the road. All right. Napa. Let's see what we bought at Napa. Whatever it was $6.16. Rawls Port Unlimited, $5.10. Heater knob with a white arrow. Okay. Somebody has really, at some point in its life, cared for this car, and then apparently they didn't. So those look like dash pieces there. Dash pads, new belts, two brand new belts for this little thing. Perhaps the smallest belts I've ever seen. Oh, a stick. Nope, not in my computer. And then that's a good screwdriver there. We are making out. Over here it gets a little rough. Well, we know it doesn't have a cooling fan because it's in my hand. That's probably the bracketry for the smog pump. And then there's just a whole box full of parts here. Let's see here. Triumph license plate. Oh, well, we did find a license plate from Michigan, so some of the story checks out. I'm just saying. Uh, see what I did there? Just saying. So it looks like this was last tagged in February of 2000, which is a long time ago, 25 plus years ago. Just saying. Oh, I'm keeping that plate. And then in here, let's see here, we've got, looks like a solenoid for the starter. So clearly it doesn't have a starter that works. A battery tie down, manifold gaskets. Oh, more tools. Guys, I have made my $300 back in tools on this job alone. Let's see what else we got here. Just lots of stuff. Looks like an extra radiator cap, because, or maybe it is the radiator cap. I don't know if there's an extra or not. Another solenoid. So clearly we've had starter issues. A vacuum gauge that you dial. You can set the vacuum, I guess. Okay. Spare ashtray, because those are super handy. Looks like probably part of the emission system, which I'm going to guess no longer exists in our world. Some kind of bracketry. Let's see here. Oh, got a cap. That's a brand new one. Looks old, but it's new. Okay. Oh, I got over here. That's a full can of WD-40. We got a can and a half of WD-40, and y'all see what that goes for. And then, oh, got a little gap gauge here for our spark plugs, because you know I love to gap spark plugs, one of my favorite things. You know what I don't see under here? Rust. I don't see any holes, except the holes where the trim come through. You can kind of see those little fellers there, but I don't see any rust. Uh, there's a spare tire. I'm not digging down to get it. I'm not sure if it's there, but it's okay. Needless to say, I'm not sad about what I'm seeing here. So far, so good. Oh God, this paint job is killing me. Let's take a look on the old inside here. I know this door opens. The other one is a question mark. Well, wait a second here. So I see red inside the door frames, and then I see a British racing green over the red, and then of course the gold. We're gonna have to do some detective work. But no, it has to be right. Look at all that British racing green on the floors in here, and on all the panels and stuff. That's got to be what it was. So let's take this out. Woo! I don't know how you define sexy, but to me, it's those brown stripy seats. So just, oh, I got to hit my alarm here. All right. There's some dash parts, maybe. Console, glove box cover, unknown large metallic piece. Dash has clearly been taken apart at some time. There's no keys, and the key cylinder is completely missing, and there are lots of wires dangling. Got the L for Leland, and nothing on the gas pedal, but that brake pedal doesn't look bad. So let's get down in her here, which will be hard for me because I'm old and unstable. Let's look at her here. So she's showing 68,111 miles, which I have no doubt that's 100% accurate. And actually, the title, which has exempt mileage, the previous title, which I looked up, did have like 61,000 miles. So maybe lights sure won't work. Rear demist. Demist. I must have demissed that button. I had no idea that was a demister. Auxiliary fans. That looks like somebody put that in. Fog lights, hazard lights. Okay, that makes sense. Down here, there's the original Panasonic radio from 1978. Oh, and it is an AC car, air conditioning. It must have been super complicated for people to figure out how to turn the defroster on because somebody at Triumph went, we get a bunch of calls about this defroster. Let's just put it on the dash. So that's what they did. That's apparently how you turn the defroster on. Oh gosh. Okay. It is an automatic, which I didn't even know they made automatics. Then over here is your fuse panel inside your glove box with no cover, but it is here in the passenger seat, so we have it. Look at these door cards. And this door card actually speaks to me. So they were moving it out of the Sheffield factory when Triumph owned it in '78. So in late '78, they moved it to Land Rover, who bought the rights to build this. And that little light in the door was something you got of the ones in Sheffield. But when they moved it to Land Rover didn't put lights in the doors. So those didn't exist. They put them up in the overheads. So this is definitely one of the late '78s in Sheffield is where this was produced, if you believe Wikipedia. And I have no reason to doubt them. So right up here is there's that handle for the old sunroof. You pull this down and then you turn it and you push it back. And I'm sure the very first time we do that, it will snap off in our hands. It is this 50-year-old piece of plastic. So we'll have to either never, ever, ever do that or figure out what we're doing to make that happen. So let's go around to the other side of the car and look in. Again, this door card in great shape. Old guy in young person car. 19-year-old Chad loved this car. Could pop in and out of it like a jack in the box. 57-year-old Chad, not nearly as pliable as he was when he was young. So the kid said that he didn't think this door opened. Hold on just a second. I want to try to, I'm going to set you down for just a second, but I'm going to come back and see if I can use both hands. Well, thanks for your patience there. It paid off. We did get the old passenger door open. So it does indeed open. It is not without some stress. And I don't think I think the doors are going to need a little bit of hinge love, and it's just going to be complicated. But again, a nice door card there. Very clean across the whole car. And I'm still not seeing any rust on the inside. Now, I do see some dents and dings and where they've smeared a little Bondo. There's a big dent right there. It looks like they just filled over with Bondo and then put some sheet metal on the outside. So clearly exactly the way I would have done it. It's got some things going on. Let's take a look under the hood. That's where the magic happens in these. Find out if there is indeed a motor. Okay, well, that doesn't do anything at all. Oh, this could be bad. Let's see, we just pulled it out and tried to wedge it into place to see if it's just catching while it's open. Oh, yes. There we go. Oh, we have motorage. So what you're looking at here is a 2-liter little Triumph motor, little 4-banger. Had 2 Zena Stromberg 1-barrel carbs, which really came off their motorcycle line, and they're a pain in the rear end to tune together. I have tuned these, I have rebuilt these, but they're downdraft. And what happens 99% of these I've seen is that they replace them with Webers. And I'm not saying what we're going to do because I have no idea if what this thing might or might not do. It's been setting for, 25 years? Looks like may or may not have oil in it, but something's definitely leaking. It is an AC car. Look at that. Bigger than Texas right there. It is an AC car. Still on the old R12. So we'll make sure that we kill the environment if we ever get the AC going. There's actually fluid. No, there's fluid. There's fluid in the brake reservoir. That is not what I expected. Of course, there's water on the shock tower because they put the shock tower right under these grates. I told you it rained pretty hard. Yeah, the old logo there. That's another way you can tell that it was made before Land Rover got a hold of it. Land Rover took that logo off completely and then replaced it with a badge, a raised badge that said Triumph on it. So when they bought it, there's your air cleaner. Of course, no battery. Let's look at the oil stick. Which looks like it's put through a little hole. Oh, it's springy. Okay, it's got oil in it and it's a little above level, which that always worries us a little bit because that means there could be moisture in the engine. Um, Automatic transmission fluid would be. It's got fluid on it, which would be the shortest automatic transmission fluid stick in history. Has to be. Uh, okay. So we'll put that back down in there. And again, there's those Zenith Stromberg carbs. Uh, it says the Zenith company, but Zenith was made by Stromberg back then. You guys feel free to correct me if you know more about these than I do, which would be most everybody. And the fan is indeed missing, but wait, there's more. To add to the mystery, somebody's put an electric fan. So that thing in there that says aux fans, my guess is that that's going to activate the old aux fan there. I don't know. That radiator even looks not originalish. Of course, there's no belt between the crank and the AC, so that's probably locked up. It looks like it's not terrible. It's got still all the emission stickers on it under the hood, which again leads me to believe British Racing Green. Some kind of something going on there that looks like it probably the hood maybe caught on fire or something. Ooh, the timing is adjusted all the way out, all the way advanced. So that's a great sign. That's clearly going to work just fine and perfect. Um, Here's where you fill your coolant on these. There's not one on the radiator fill. So there we go. She's got a motor. I don't see any rust to speak of. Just a little bit of trauma to her under her passenger side quarter. Looks like she's found a curve or something pushed in, and somebody's put some tinfoil over that and painted it. Yeah, that worked fine. Um, so I guess she's got enough in her that we ought to try to slap a battery on her and then hit some things and just see what happens next. She's got oil in her. She's got transmission fluid. Will she run and drive? Oh, probably not for a long time. But all the things that you need in a car to get them to do that kind of running and driving thing, that's all there. And that's what we'll do. We're going to run get a battery, get a little box full of tools, and see what we can do with her. Y'all hang in, hang out, and hang on. The drama has just started.
America is coming home in the shape of things to come. Triumph's bold slashing wedge, TR7, at a bold slashing price, $49.95. Triumph TR7, the shape of things to come. At a price you can afford today, $49.95.
Hey, we're back on the TR7. We did that great walk around. We found out that it's not that bad. It's bad. Okay, it is rougher than a night in jail, but it's not that bad. No floors weren't rusted out. The rockers weren't rusted out. It has some dents and dings. She's rough. She's rough. This one time, 1996, I'm in Monticello, Kentucky. So let me tell you about professional wrestling. First off, when you're on your way up and you're on your way down, you're in the Indies. In the Indies, you're wrestling at high school gyms and National Guard armories and outdoor recreation centers, when you're not in the WWF back then, or WCW, or Smoky Mountain Wrestling, you're in these little indies running, you're wrestling in front of 50 people. So I am one night wrestling in front of 50 people at the Monticello National Guard Armory in Monticello, Kentucky. And they bring in to wrestle Jimmy 2 times. They bring in handsome Jimmy Valiant, who was on his way down from kind of being in Memphis wrestling. He had an injury. He was coming back from that, working his way back up to the WWF. And they bring him in to wrestle Jimmy 2 times. He comes up to me and he goes, "Hey there, Jimmy 2 times," which is the way he always talked, 24/7. So it wasn't a real surprise, but he was like, "Hey there, Jimmy 2 times. Handsome Jimmy Valiant, a little hurt tonight. May not be able to go so much, so take care of me." I said, "I'm going to take care of you, handsome Jimmy, make you look like $1,000,000. So we lock up in the middle of the ring. We do a couple things, I take a couple of bumps, and we're back in a lock up. And he goes, "Get you a punch, Jimmy." So I reach back and I hit him. Big uppercut. I swear to God, the guy flies 15 feet across the ring, and he's laying back there, and he's shaking like he's having some kind of conniption fit. And I thought to myself, I'm going to go down forever as the wrestler who killed handsome Jimmy Valiant. So I ran over behind him and I snatched him up in a big chin lock. And I said, "You okay, Jimmy?" And he said, "Handsome Jimmy's selling for you, baby." And then he got up and poked me in the throat with a pencil, and 1, 2, 3, he pinned me. During my professional career, I've had over 3,000 matches in 30 years. And I probably lost 2,500 of those. That's yeah. In the business, they would call Jimmy 2 times a jobber, a guy who goes out and does the jobs for the big stars and makes everybody look good. Got a ton of heat. It was always the top heel, but I was always what they called a chicken heel. So I was not the big heel. I was the heel who ran off to the back with my tail tucked between my legs. But everybody loved to hate Jimmy 2 times. So that's how rough this car is. It was as rough as that match with handsome Jimmy Valiant where he poked me in the throat with a pencil. So what we're going to do today is we're going to see first off if this crank will turn. And what we noted in the last segment there is that the crank is not attached to the AC, so we may be able to turn it by hand. So let's see if the crank will turn. If the crank turns, we're going to throw a battery in her, throw a little gas in the carburetors, and then hot wire it because there are no keys. So let's try that. Holden. Oh, got to thank Holden again. Holden is up at 8 o'clock on a Sunday. And it was my impression, having a teenage son, that if the sunlight hit him before noon, that he just turned to dust. So I'm really excited that Holden's up this time of morning. And my guess is, this is just my guess, he will neither confirm nor deny that his mom called him and said, "You need to get up and go help your dad with his YouTube thing." So I'm not gonna ask him to confirm or deny because in my heart I know what really happened. So hold on, let's get over on this side over here. Oh, that is a sexy machine right there. I don't care who you are. So remember, this is our little 2-liter Triumph motor. Somebody's put a fan in it here. It does have an AC, dual Zenith Stromberg carbs. But the crank is right here. And again, there's no belt from the crank to the AC. And we did determine that the AC does not appear to be locked up. The clutch is not locked up and is spinning freely, which means who knows? If we get this thing running, we might even have an AC car. But the crank's right here, and rather than trying to get a bar inside that pulley, which feels like about 1 3/16 nut, I'm just going to see if I can turn this by hand to see if we've got any kind of chance of getting this engine to turn over. Oh, okay. I don't know if you saw that or not. Oh, okay. That must have been the compression. Okay. So she's free. That's a great sign. I got 3 good pushes, got it to go 360 degrees, and I felt the compression stroke turn over. I didn't hear anything, but I felt the compression stroke turn over. So we checked the oil, we checked the blood stick for transmission fluid because apparently this is the only TR7 automatic on the planet, and now we know that the engine is at least free. So let's throw a battery cable in her, and then of course we're gonna have to hotwire it because there are no keys, and and then wonder why our neighbors can't hit their button on their phone. Okay, thank you, neighbors. That's the thing about it, living in a neighborhood. And while this is a neighborhood, it's a neighborhood in what they call Old Town Berthoud, meaning it's been around since Christ was a carpenter. It has been around a long time, and of course, I have the only house that has a large garden in the front and chickens in the back because I'm from Kentucky, and it's required by law that if you're from Kentucky, you must keep chickens when you leave the state. So let's throw a battery in her here. I don't know if you've priced batteries lately, but they have not gotten cheaper. Went to the old Walmart and got this what appears to be a 51R with a 1-year warranty. So clearly this is going to last forever. It is 430 co-cranking amps, but when I looked it up on the little Walmart battery machine, this is the one they said it needed. So this is the one we got. Let's see here. Manufactured in 625. So here's the positive cable. I'll just squeeze that on there. And then, all right, this is where it gets worrisome. Holden, keep an eye out for smoke. Oh, okay. Something's going on there. Oh, that's the electric fan. We saw that yesterday. We saw that it had an electric fan and there was a button on the dash. Let me. God, fuck it. God. God. Okay, we'll get it in the other door. That door is still having some issues. Let's see here. Auxiliary fan. Somebody, let's turn that knob up. Yeah, at least we know it works. You're exactly right. You hear that?
Yeah.
I think that's a fuel pump. Hold on, let me. There are all kinds of wires just hanging down here. Let me turn some of those wires. See if you can see here. That is the ignition system that I adopted. Um, so that's what we have. That's what we have to work with. So let's try this again just to see if we've killed the what would be the keyed switch. So you know in your car you turn on a keyed switch, turns on all your stuff, and then you keep cranking and it engages your starter. So up. All right, so now we have the keyed switch off. All right. So we have a battery, we know we have oil, we know the fan works. We never did check to see. Okay, that's got absolutely nothing in it, so there could be nothing wrong with that. Let's see here. We don't know about fuel. Let's figure it out about fuel. So let's pull out the old borescope. Come on back here, Holden. Let's figure out. Look at that. That's one handsome fella right there, Holden. I don't care who you are. See him in the borescope? Yeah, that's what it looks like. All right. Let's get in the fuel tank here, which, oh, great. Fuel lid's broken. Let's just take a look down in here to see what. Feel like Yosemite Sam when he can't do things. You go, frickin'. Ah. All right. So let's see here what we can see with our borescope. All right, can you get on that? Oh. Okay, I see a little rust right there at the top of the filler neck. As we get down into the tank, and I apologize if you guys can't see that real well.
Just seeing my reflection.
That's tough. It's tough to see down with. Oh, there we go. That's clean as it can be. So all the way down the filler neck through the secondary filter. I don't see any rust at all. Do you, Holden?
Yeah.
No, I think we're all right. All right. Well, let's just count that as a win. So it has a gas tank. We saw a little fuel down in there too. So it's got fuel, or at least a little bit of fuel. We'll put some more in it. The question now is, does it have spark? There's a lot of things we could do here. We could pull a plug off, put a little thing in line, test it. But I guess first we should just see if it turns over. So let me hook up the old remote controller 3000. So let's see here if I remember how to hotwire a car. Now, I wasn't always a doctor. I wasn't always a professional wrestler. Woo! I wasn't always a drummer in a country band, but I have managed to always be a juvenile delinquent. So I may have done a little time in county when I was younger for hot wiring cars. Well, I may have done some time. There's some records that are sealed, according to my attorney. So let me see here. Remember how to do this old thing. Let's see here. So we're going to, I believe black. I'm trying to remember the ignition system. I believe black and white is, these are big wires. So my guess is they go to your starter. And then I've got, okay, you heard that. So the fuel pump kicked on. Good God only knows what it's pumping up there. It has been sitting since 2000, and we did put a little fresh fuel in it. So we'll just see what happens there. All right, so we got that. Let's turn that off for now. I'm going to prime these carburetors with at least a little bit of good gas. These Zena Stromberg downdrafts are kind of funky. So they have a float here on both of them on the top. Again, Triumph's background is not building incredible cars. Triumph's background is building incredible motorcycles, which they still do. And do they build cars? No. No, they should have stuck with what they were good at. Let's see here. Just a taste of fuel there. Oh, that's not going to spit out all over the place at all. Yes, it is. And then along. All right. A little bit of fuel in that one. And now we just hope that it doesn't explode, because of course we used our dry chemical in the big fire in the Yugo. So all right, let's see what we can figure out here. There's that. All right, let's pull that for a second. All right, let's hit our button here that we, and now let's, for the first time and since 2000, let's see what happens. Okay, there we go. That's a start. You all heard that, right? It wasn't just me. I mean, it is Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Doesn't mean I haven't been day drinking. Okay, it is Whiskey Gas Garage again, always for a reason. So it did things. It just made river sounds, and those are pretty important. So considering it made those, let's see if it'll make some more. I don't want to take a chance on it just yet. I want to make sure that we're doing the right thing for the right reason here. All right, so we'll turn it back on here, and then okay, that's always a good thing. We might get to the point where we have to test for spark, because that would be what was next. What I'm hearing is that it rolls over great. I don't hear any gallop. I don't hear any lag. This might work. So all right, so let's check it. The plugs, it's a 4-cylinder, so the plugs are all right here, right over the exhaust manifold, because that seems a great place to put plugs. Now we should be able to hit this button and then hold this and then see if we see any spark. Oh, did you hear that? Did you hear that clack? Oh, there it is. Okay, so we've got some spark. So spark goes through the distributor into the plugs. We have spark. We've got fuel coming up, being pulled up. We've got some true fuel in it. And did you hear that? Remember we had those 2 solenoids in the trunk? I heard a solenoid that was bad. So let's hit her and just see what happens. See if we've got spark, we've got fuel, we've got air. Those are the 3 things you need to start a motor. So here we go. Okay, let's see here. I can smell gas, I can smell stuff. And again, these carburetors are tuned independently, and then you have to link them together. Oh, Well, we got something going on here. Ah, that's that solenoid we keep. Let's see here. Gonna need a starter. Ah, come on, catch. If that fuel pump's really running and pumping fuel, it is going to be extremely flooded. Nope, not wanting to. May end up having to change out that starter just to. Or it could be the solenoid, but the challenge is there were 2 solenoids in the trunk, which tells me that either they're going bad or the starter's not lined up with the flywheel or something else is going on. Ah, hoped it would kick over with that one. Yeah, Dad, another little breather there. Let's see. Sounds like it's just catching when it wants to. I'm holding it wide open. Hey, turn that switch off. Turn that switch off. Wait. No. What has just happened? It's idling. This car has not started in 25 years. Dear 6-pound, 8-ounce sweet baby Jesus, we want to thank you on this Sunday morning for bringing this Triumph back. Do you believe what's going on here? I thought it was stuck, so I was going to have you cut the ignition. I don't know what's happening here. It's like Christmas and my birthday and my anniversary and the day Holden was born, if you want to mix that in, all rolled into one. What is going on? Hold on, let's look at the exhaust. What's coming out of the exhaust? Oh, lots of noise. Oh, she's missing. Noticeably missing. So something's going on. Let's see, is anything working on the inside? Look at that, the tachometer's working. Even looks like the fuel gauge is working. It's got 1/8 of a tank in it. It's got volts. It's showing volts. Clock's not working. We're definitely not going to fix this car now. No, we don't care what time it is. What time it is, it's time to celebrate. Go get the Jack Daniels, son. Now I've got to. Holy crap, the doors, the lights in the doors, look at that. They're working. They are on. And they actually turn on and off when you shut the door. Are these the ones that you could? No, just adjust them up and down. They're either on or they're off. Okay. You know, normally I would not start one of these after this long and leave it running, but I know it's got oil in it, and I know the automatic transmission's got fluid in it, so that pump is not going to burn up. What it doesn't have is water in it, so I'm going to keep an eye on that temp gauge just to see if it moves. But it's not going to hurt if you run a little while without water. No engine's going to hurt to run with a little while without water. It's even quiet. I hear something though. Doesn't sound top end or bottom end, but oh, bunch of black smoke. And she's got a noticeable miss. What's that? Oh, the fan's not even on yet. Oh, she's acting like she doesn't want to keep running. I think I'll turn the idle up on her just a little bit, just to keep her running. These Zena Strombergs, the adjusters are right on top. And again, you got your primary and your secondary as two different one-barrel carbs, which is painful, but wow, she sounds better. Let's hit that switch. Let's turn the fan on just in case there's water in the radiator. The strange thing about these radiators, the overflow is where the cap is. So you can't look directly down into the radiator to know if there's water. Fan came on. Oh, and the temp gauge works. Look at that, Holden. Show them the temp gauge there. It's on the far left on the inside there. It says temp. Yeah, so the temp gauge is moving up. And I just turned the auxiliary fan on. And she's showing a little bit of fuel. She's showing volts. There's a tick. I don't know if you can hear it. It's very slight. But there's a tick somewhere. It's definitely not in the top end. But there is a tick. But wow, she sounds good. She sounds really good. Let's go over here and check this radiator one more time. I can't believe this. Our Yugo started finally after being locked up. This started like it was started yesterday. All right. Not hot at all. Now there's fluid in here, and it's even green. So it must be circulating. I can't reach it, but it's in there. All right, follow me, Holden. We know, oh my God, I can't believe this. It's running. We paid $300, and after 10 minutes of work, maybe 10, Holden, a new battery, 20 minutes of work, our car is sitting here idling. I'm going to check that temperature gauge again. It's creeping up a little bit. We're going to run up here to the garage. Let's get our meter. Now we got to get past all of our other projects. We just finished the Thunderbird, which is on the old Face Space Marketplace here in Berthoud, Colorado. It is so nice. It is so nice. 52,000 miles. That was by far my favorite revival so far. And then Jamie's Bronco that she yells at me about because you can't park it in the garage. It's getting ready. Holden and I, she goes, in order for to rent the garage from her, apparently, because apparently she owns a garage, she just bought, I don't know, $3,000 worth of accessories on Amazon Prime days, including new bumpers and Biminis. And you'll see a video on that only because I'm contractually obligated by marriage to do her car too. So let's go up here and get our meter. Dominus Obiscum. We're waiting on parts for the Yugo. Should be here tomorrow. Our fuel pump or water pump. Let's see here. Of course, you're not where you're supposed to be. I don't even know why I put things. Oh, here it is. Didn't need that. Let's get our meter and see if the old alternator is alternating. The Whiskey Gas Garden. Yes, it's coming along. We are going to have enough squash and zucchini to feed the entire Whiskey Grass channel. It sounds like a Swiss watch. It sounds like a sewing machine. It sounds quieter than my neighbor's Prius. So Tim, if you're watching, this is quieter than your Prius right now. Let's see what we're doing here for volts. Look at that, Holden. Look at that number right there. I would say we're overcharging, if anything. So we may have to dial that back just a little bit. All right. Well, the tipper gauge moved up. It's almost halfway. Get in there and take a look at it, Holden. The volts are really high. The temperature gauge has moved up. And we're idling at, way too high, but still idling. 1,600 RPM. That seems like a good idle. Well, hold on. What do you think the next thing we should do is just put it in gear and see what happens? We haven't checked the brakes. We haven't checked the transmission. Let's get in it. We'll just put it in gear and see what happens. Put our foot on the brake and see what happens. Nothing can go wrong there. We do know there's fluid in the brake in the master cylinder, the reservoir. It's not full, but it's got some in it. Let me back down the idle a little bit before we put our foot on the brake. I'd hate to it go into gear and us end up plowing into your Firebird. These don't have a ton of adjustments on them. All right. Let's try this. Yeah. For the record, I don't know where that blanket came from, but we are going to burn it. It smells bad. All right. Okay, the accelerator pedal is hooked up. The brakes don't go all the way to the floor. Pretty close. All right, let's try reverse. All right, it did reverse things. Okay, neutral. Drive. Whoa. Do you hear that clonk, clonk? There might be, I don't know, U-joint issues. There might be transmission issues. Okay. It will go forward and backwards, and there's that much brake. Un poquito brake. But more important than anything, Holden, bring it in. The temperature seems to be holding right. It's going to need gas because it's almost on zero. The volts are settling up, it looks like. The brake light is on. Makes sense because the brakes are super weak. But more important than anything, does the radio work? Because if the radio doesn't work, we're getting rid of it, right? Yeah. You know, the first thing Holden told me when we got this car, and I brought it home, he's like, I think I want that car when I go off to the Air Force. And I'm like, you've got a really nice Pontiac that we did 4 years ago, Firebird. Show him your Pontiac. It's beautiful. It's a convertible. This kid, since he was 16 years old, in the last 4 years, has had that top down twice. Now, I'll be completely honest, he has the complexion of an iPhone flashlight. But still, you could have at least put the top down. I would have felt better about it. So let's. Do you hear something? Ah! There you go. We have one speaker that works, and that's the original Panasonic radio that we saw in the flyer a few minutes ago. So I'm not going to take any chances. I'm going to turn this thing off. All right. That's our key, and that's our ignition. So we'll just flip our key on with that little switch, and then we'll hit the ignition, and things will happen. So for those of you who need to know how to hotwire a car, just hit me up. I'll send you all the information, which means we have to find a cylinder and a key, or maybe not. Maybe we just jury rigged something in here, and that's how it starts. Um, I'm pretty excited. I'm not gonna lie to you. Don't let the cool demeanor fool you. This never happens. I mean, it never happens that we have them that run and start and potentially drive. We're about to find out because in a second we're gonna clean all this crap out of the front of the car. Holden's gonna jump in the car and we're going to drive it. We're just gonna drive it and see what happens. You know, the kid, I told you the kid got temporary tags on this thing. We're completely legal. I've got insurance. We've got tags. We're just gonna drive it until we can't or until it doesn't. We're just gonna see what happens. The gas station's only a couple of miles away. Maybe we got enough gas to go get gas. Whatever it is, we're gonna try it. So you all hang in, hang out, and hang on. And if you can, just good vibes. Throw some good vibes our way. We'll see you in just a few minutes. Well, Holden and I are officially in the Triumph TR7. Two of us for the first time. I don't remember it being this small, especially with another human in here, but let's fire it up. Let's see if it will fire back up. Okay, hit that button. Did you hear that? All? One shot of the old stick right there. The brake light's still on. Whatever that light was went off. All right, so let's. Oh, those brakes are soft. Super sketchy. Let's turn our fan back on. Let's put her a little rough into reverse there. There may be some need for some adjustments. Let's put her up. Oh, A little clunky in drive. Oh, I forgot about rack and pinion steering. Rack. Oh, okay. Rack and pinion. Oh, we're doing it. Stop sign. Let's. A little squeaky. I'm so glad we didn't hit the civilian there. She didn't agree to be on camera, so but at least we didn't hit her. I am not going to push her too hard. It says we're going 20 miles an hour at 1,600 RPMs. Sounds right now. These automatics didn't come out in California, only every other state, but they didn't make very many of them because everybody wanted the 5-speed in this. You saw the commercial, the shape of things to come, the 5-speed. Okay, it kind of coasted to a stop. All right. It's doing drivey things. There, it shifted gears. Okay. Now this is a 3-speed automatic, so it's going to be a big old 1970s slush box. You know, it's not going to get anywhere quick. Okay, if you pump the brakes, you get a little bit more brakes. Oh, the whole, yeah, I tried to hit the, check that out. That's pretty exciting right there. I tried to hit the old dringy dingies. I'm going to have this guy come on because there's a good chance I'm not going to stop. Oh, you're welcome. You're so welcome, sir. He's in a suit and tie. Somebody's heading to church. So I did get the blinker to come on. I hear it. I see it doing blinky things, and it did kick off. It's just, that looks a little suspect. Wonder if the, yeah, because I should test all this while I'm driving. Now I don't see anything with the windshield wipers. They must not work. Or no, I don't know anything about that switch yet. We're still holding a fairly good temperature. We're like a quarter of the way through the gauge. The fan is on. Whoa, 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 whoa! That was a loud clunking noise. I hope it was something in the trunk because it was certainly a loud clunking noise. 25 seems like a good miles per hour on this road. Oh, it's getting a little warm in here on me. Oh, this window rolls down. Does your window roll down, Holden?
I don't know, but the door is like peeking just enough where I can get us back. Yeah,
oh, there you go. Oh, we got a little air in here now. Very nice. It's like air conditioning. But this car has air conditioning, and of course the brake light's on, which means there's some brakes there somewhere. So something's engaging because we're stopping from time to time at all the stop signs. Oh, hear that big clunk when we stop. I'm worried that that's U-joints or transmission, but the transmission clearly works. We're going to go up here at the old 7-Eleven, which is coincidentally right next to the O'Reilly's Auto Parts. So well, we may have to go into O'Reilly's just because we're contractually obligated. I feel like most of my check goes to O'Reilly's Auto Parts. Right there's the O'Reilly. Show them the O'Reilly, bud. Right there in Berthoud, Colorado, the only place to get stuff that you can't get at Napa. So, which is very little. There's very little. And right up here is the old 7-Eleven. Which side was our gas tank on? It's on the passenger side. Yeah. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Well, we've made it to the old 7-Eleven. Now I'm going to do something I don't usually do, and I'm just going to let her run. I'm going to let her eat. I'm going to put a little gas in her, and we'll be right back with you. All right, we put 5 gallons of gas in it, and we have almost a half a tank, so somewhere between a quarter and a half a tank. The fuel gauge works, the volts are working, the fan is working, the temp is still cool, and we have the radio on. Country's Hot Top 40 on Sunday morning with Casey Kasem. I'm sure Casey Kasem's dead, but it's not Casey Kasem. So we're gonna put it on time lapse here and take a drive around and then drive home and just see what happens. We'll see if we get there. We'll stop if we don't. Well, there you have it. It runs, it drives. We just drove it 12 miles. We stopped and got a little gas at the 7-Eleven, drove it out to the truck stop to look for some lot lizards. I mean, to get a soda. And then we drove around the truck stop there, brought it back to the house, 12, 13 miles, and it didn't shake, it didn't rattle. The transmission shifted zig, zig, zig right between the 3 gears. Now going in and out of gear, it's still like clunk, clunk, clunk. That could be bushings, it could be mount, it could be U-joints, it could be a lot of things. We'll get to that later. But what we know now is it's going further in the process. So we don't just get them running, driving here at Whiskey Gas Garage. We want them to look good. I want you to be able to get mama and set her down in the seat next to you and drive her up to the A&W, which is the only restaurant we have in Berthoud. And it's an old A&W. It's where you drive up and the girl roller skates out, takes your order, then roller skates back in, and then brings you a root beer float. That's the kind of cars we build. We build root beer float cars. This has got a long way to go before mama's going to sit down next to me and go get a root beer at the old A&W. So I want to thank you guys so much for hanging in. We'll be back with a Yugo next week. Things you'd like to see done to this car, put them down in the comments. If you know something about these TR7s, put it down in the comments. I want to know what you know. The more you know, the more I know. You all hang in, hang out, hang on. We'll see you next time at Whiskey Gas Garage.
Well, if your ride's broke down and looking sad, got a clunker car, it's just plain bad. Don't you fret, don't you worry, don't you sass. Just bring it on down to Chad's Whiskey Gas. He's Chad, he's wild, he's got the speed.